When the former Prime Minister of Burkina Faso, Apollinaire Joachim Kyélem de Tambèla, was sacked by Traore, the West expected to hear negative things about Traore from the PM. But to the greatest surprise of everyone, the Burkinabe Prime Minister never shared anything negative about Traore. In fact, in a recent interview, the Prime Minister was full of praises for President Traore. This is remarkable given the fact that Traore removed him from power. Currently, the reason for this decision has not been announced. However, the statements made by the Prime Minister mean that he is still in support of President Traore. But who is this man, and what did he reveal about Traore? Let's find out. The former Burkinabe Prime Minister, Kyélem de Tambèla, was born in Burkina Faso in 1955. After completing his early education in Burkina Faso, he went on to study in France, where he received his doctorate of law in 1986 from the University of Nice. Later on, he taught as a professor at the University of Ouagadougou and the National School of Administration and Magistrates. Prior to entering politics, Tambela built a career as a lawyer and later as a television personality. Tambela has always been a supporter and advocate of Thomas Sankara's policies and legacy. As a student in France in the 1980s, Tambela founded a branch of the Committee for the Defense of the Revolution in Nice, Côte d'Azur, to defend and financially support the revolutionary struggle abroad waged by Thomas Sankara. During this period, he also organized with left-wing groups, the National Union of Students of France, UNF, and the Union of Communist Students. After Sankara's death and the entrance of Blaise Compaoré in Burkina Faso's politics, Tambela gained popularity among the public due to his outspoken nature and strong criticism of governmental excesses. However, he didn't join politics until 2022, when he was unexpectedly appointed as the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso by President Captain Ibrahim Traore. Despite having neither a political party nor a political formation behind him, Kyélem de Tambèla accepted the role. The reason for this decision is quite obvious. As we stated earlier, Tambela has been an advocate of Sankara's policies. He obviously saw that Traore was another Sankara in the making, and he decided to join Traore's government. Shortly after his appointment, one of Tambela's first actions was to call for a reduction in the salaries of the president and various ministers. This was in alignment with the reforms of the Sankara government, which he had previously stated his commitment to by declaring, "I have already said that Burkina Faso cannot be developed outside the path set by Thomas Sankara." Interestingly, President Traore approved his demand and took a step further by rejecting the salary of the presidency. With this, it's obvious that Traore and Tambela have the same mindset and principles. For his first foreign visit as Prime Minister, Tambela traveled to Russia. He also visited Iran upon an invitation from Iran's first vice president, Mohammad Mokber. There, he met with Iranian Foreign Minister Ali Bagheri to discuss the enhancement of ties between Iran and Burkina Faso. Tambela was so instrumental in the formation of the AES Confederation. He was the one who initially brought the idea of forming a federation between Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. Under his leadership and administration, the AES was formed, and in July, the Alliance of Sahel organized its first summit. There is no doubt that Tambela did a remarkable job as Prime Minister of Burkina Faso. He was able to achieve this because he had the same principles and standards as Traore. However, on December 6, 2024, Tambela was removed as Prime Minister by President Traore. A day after his removal, Traore appointed a new Prime Minister, Emmanuel Ouagadougou, who had been the Communications Minister and spokesperson of the government. Matthias Traore, General Secretary of the Government and Cabinet, who delivered the decree, said, "He will be responsible in the days to come for constituting a government for the continuity of government action, the handling of current affairs of which has been entrusted to the members of the dissolved government." Before we proceed, here is a reminder to like this video, drop a comment, and subscribe to our channel so that you can get more videos like this. Now, following Tambela's removal, no reason was given for the decision, and one can only speculate why. However, in a recent interview, the former Prime Minister of Burkina Faso revealed some deep truth about Traore's administration that reaffirms our belief in Traore. So, what did he say? The Prime Minister started by saying that at first his relationship with Traore was that of a boss and a worker, but then it evolved to one built on friendship and brotherhood. This is interesting given the fact that it was Traore who sacked him. For Tambela to say this means that he still highly regards President Traore despite his removal from the position of Prime Minister. In most cases like this, both parties have been involved in altercations and disagreements which turn ugly. Tambela further pointed out that even though they sometimes have different methods of doing things, the one thing that remained constant was the shared vision and commitment to that vision. This was the basis of their relationship and what kept it going through these years. Both Tambela and Traore desire to see a Burkina Faso that is independent of the West and self-sufficient in every aspect. This is in line with the vision of Thomas Sankara for Burkina Faso. Interestingly, both leaders are ardent followers of Sankara's policies and ideals. It's no wonder then that both leaders were able to work together to achieve incredible things. As Prime Minister, Tambela followed Traore's leadership closely. He was not part of those demanding a return to civilian rule despite the insecurity and economic challenges. He knew that Traore was making the right decision for Burkina Faso. In his interview, Tambela emphasized that Traore has a great vision for Burkina Faso, which if it comes true, will bring prosperity and development to the country. He then pleaded with the citizens of Burkina Faso to lend their support to Traore and work with him so that the vision would be achieved. The former Prime Minister is indeed a remarkable leader, and the bond between him and Traore is extraordinary. If it were to be some other people, the fact that Traore dismissed him as Prime Minister would have destroyed the relationship. We see this in every government of the world, both in Africa and the West. Most times, those in power are not united, and the opposition party is always looking to bring the ruling party down. The opposition party would criticize every decision made by the ruling power, regardless of whether it is for the benefit of the country. It simply means that they are looking after their own interest. But this shouldn't be the case. The relationship between Tambela and Traore reveals that every leader should work for the benefit of the country and its citizens, regardless of personal gains and ambitions. Moving on, the Prime Minister highlighted the fact that Traore's primary focus is on solving the insecurity challenges in Burkina Faso. He noted that when Traore first became the leader of Burkina Faso in 2022, the Burkinabe military was not fully equipped to deal with the situation. President Traore himself, as well as a couple of Burkinabe leaders such as the Minister of Defense, have shared similar thoughts. The condition of the Burkinabe army was so bad that they sometimes borrowed equipment from neighboring countries to fight the jihadists. In addition to this, the Burkinabe soldiers had lost the morale to fight the war as a result of the horrible conditions which they were experiencing, including low pay. However, according to the Prime Minister, things began to change under Traore's rule. Under Traore's leadership, the Burkinabe military forces have grown tremendously. Military equipment and weapons have been bought, and the living conditions of the soldiers have improved. This is to show you how determined and committed Traore is to improving the security of Burkina Faso. However, according to the Prime Minister, Traore is also committed to rebuilding Burkina Faso in terms of changing the system and how the people react to these systems. This means installing a culture of discipline and responsibility that can sustain any progress that follows. This is why Traore has involved the people of Burkina Faso in the development of the country by allowing them to make financial contributions towards certain projects. In this way, President Traore is making sure the people are involved in nation building. This is remarkable. According to reports, some of the military equipment acquired and some road projects were made possible through the contributions of the citizens. This contribution will transform the mentality of the citizens towards nation building. The citizens of Burkina Faso now realize that everyone needs to work together for the country to make progress. Now, what progress has been made regarding the security of Burkina Faso? Well, as you know, Western media has always reported how Captain Traore kicked out French forces and promised to combat terrorism in Burkina Faso, yet the insecurity still persists and more people continue to be killed or displaced from their homes. In line with the dictates of the powers that be in the West, the Western media does this to throw shade at Traore's government and turn local and public support for his government. It's a tactic that the West has used over and over again to shut down leaders who do not fit into their plan. However, while Captain Traore has not completely cleared Burkina Faso of insecurity, the fact is he has done more in the 2 years he has been in power than what the French did in all their years fighting terrorism in the country. And we know that given more time, Captain Traore would win this fight against terrorism and insecurity in not just Burkina Faso, but also in the Sahel region. Now, in addition to exploring defense partnerships with other countries such as Russia and Rwanda, as well as Mali and Niger, Captain Traore expressed his determination to fight insecurity in the country, mainly through strengthening the Burkina Faso military. In an interview, Captain Traore revealed that one of the reasons why the Burkina Faso military was not able to achieve much in the fight against insecurity was that it was poorly equipped in terms of equipment and training. He also spoke about how the living conditions of the soldiers affected their morale. With no adequate nutrition, no military equipment, and no training, it is no wonder that they could not do much. Traore therefore took it upon himself to equip the army and boost the morale of the soldiers. One of his first measures was to improve the living conditions of the soldiers. To do this, Captain Traore reportedly sometimes accompanied Burkina Faso soldiers on missions to boost morale. Captain Traore was very strategic when it came to procuring military equipment. After ousting France, which had been determining what military equipment France could buy and from whom, Traore forged defense cooperation with countries whose interests aligned with his, including Russia, North Korea, and China. Recently, the Burkina Faso army announced that it had acquired powerful military equipment. The equipment purchased from China included armored vehicles, self-propelled mortars, and a variety of weapons and ammunition. At the handover ceremony led by President Traore, Defense Minister Brigadier General Kassoum Coulibaly announced that this is the first of 5 transport planes that will arrive in the coming months as part of the strategic equipment plan. And the best part is that this equipment was purchased without any aid or support from any foreign government. What a great move. Captain Traore also added that the acquisition of this equipment is the result of strict resource control and proves that the country is capable of waging war. However, this is not the first time that Traore has acquired new weapons. In early March 2023, it was reported that Traore had purchased approximately $415 million worth of military equipment to strengthen the capabilities of the military. The identity of the supplier has not been revealed, but military officials said the equipment includes drones, fighter jets, weapons, ammunition, troop carriers, and combat vehicles. It was also revealed that the equipment is already in use by the military and has proven effective. So what tactics has the Burkina Faso army used in the fight against terrorism in the country? In recent battles with rebel forces, the Burkina Faso army under Captain Traore has won several key battles with the Air Force and Army, securing key areas near the borders with Niger and Mali. In a recent operation in the northern region of Burkina Faso near the border with Mali, the army launched a fierce attack on the terrorists, who fled into the forest for protection. However, thanks to newly acquired attack helicopters, they were able to continue the offensive without compromising the security of the army and achieve a quick victory. This is just one of the many successes the army has achieved since Traore drove out the French. In fact, on November 26, 2023, the Burkina Faso army announced that it had eliminated more than 400 terrorists. Imagine how many more have been eliminated since then. It was all possible thanks to Captain Traore's. In another terrorist attack against the Burkina Faso Volunteer Fighters, VDP, the Burkina Faso Air Force immediately launched an offensive against the retreating terrorists. The German Air Force conducted a firefight to prevent the terrorists from being detected and eliminated their hiding places. They also conducted strategic attacks featuring targeted bombing to ensure that no corner of the region was safe from their firepower. This demonstrates their ability and determination to eliminate terrorists and adapt to evolving threats. By neutralizing the threat against the VDP, the Burkina Faso army under the command of Captain Traore demonstrated their ability to respond quickly and effectively, not only to protect specific groups, but to protect the stability of the whole of Burkina Faso. To strengthen the army, Captain Traore is currently taking several strategic steps against the growing terrorist threat. One of these steps is the approval of the recruitment of 300 additional NCOs in the capital, Ouagadougou. This decision will help strengthen the frontline forces with highly qualified personnel. A comprehensive training has already been started for the newly recruited NCOs to equip them with the skills necessary for modern warfare and ensure that they are properly equipped for daily life in the unit. The training program will focus on technical competence, providing the NCOs with comprehensive knowledge of modern military equipment, technology, and communication systems, including practical experience with the latest weapons surveillance equipment and communication devices, ensuring that they are familiar with the latest technological advances. In addition, the officers are also trained to assess dynamic situations, develop effective strategies, and respond decisively to threats on the battlefield. The comprehensive training highlights the importance of a qualified and adaptable force to effectively counter changing threats. It also underscores Traore's commitment to resilience, adaptability, and strategic thinking in the fight against insecurity and terrorism. Speaking of strategic thinking, the Burkina Faso Air Force has used drones to carry out several successful attacks on terrorist hideouts. Major terrorist groups have reportedly set up bases in the Djiba and Diga forests, and the only way the military was able to get these reports was by using drones deployed by the Air Force to provide real-time information on collecting terrorist activities and possible escape routes. Once these hideouts were discovered, the Burkina Faso Air Force struck back with targeted bombings to disrupt terrorist movements and prevent escape attempts. This tactic allows them to maximize the impact on terrorist organizations while minimizing the collateral damage of attacks. The Air Force cuts off possible escape routes and strategically places resources to force terrorists into a vulnerable position with little time to retreat or escape. This is truly a masterful tactic by the Burkina Faso military. From this, we can see that the Burkina Faso military is thriving under the leadership of Ibrahim Traore and is working hard to bring an end to insecurity in Burkina Faso quickly. The steady and gradual strengthening of the Burkina Faso military will pave the way for improved capabilities that will strengthen defenses and enable the country to face global challenges. The success of the Burkina Faso army highlights the fact that any African country has the power to succeed if it is determined enough. In all the years that the French army was present in Burkina Faso, it could not achieve what Captain Traore had achieved, either in fighting the rebels or equipping the army. Although the media may not say so, Captain Traore is working hard to make Burkina Faso safe again, and it is only a matter of time before we see the changes that have already begun. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, drop a comment, and share.